Ladies and gentlemen, daughters of the Most High, listen to me, because this is your time. This is your moment. You've been knocked down, you've been counted out, you've been doubted, but hear me now. You are not done. You are not broken. You are not defeated. You are a warrior, and a warrior does not stay down. A warrior rises. A warrior fights. A warrior rebuilds. A warrior never stays down. Life will come at you harder than you ever expected, with storms you didn't see coming and battles you never thought you'd have to fight. It will shake your foundation, test your faith, and push you to your breaking point. But a warrior is not measured by how many times she falls. She is measured by how many times she gets back up. You see, the world will try to tell you that when you fall, you're supposed to stay there, that when life knocks you flat on your back, you might as well accept defeat. But that's not who you are. That's not what you were made for. You were designed to rise, built to fight, and called to overcome. You carry something inside of you that cannot be destroyed, no matter how fierce the battle, no matter how deep the wound. Pain is real, and so is disappointment. There will be moments when you feel broken, when you feel like you've lost too much, like the weight of the world is too heavy to bear. But let me tell you something. Nothing you go through is wasted. Every tear, every scar, every sleepless night, it's all shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for what's next. Because a warrior does not see obstacles as the end. A warrior sees obstacles as training grounds for greater victory. When life brings you to your knees, that is not your signal to quit. That is your moment to gather your strength, call on your faith, and remind yourself who you are. You were created by a God who does not make mistakes, a God who did not place you here to live in defeat. He placed you here to walk in power, to stand in purpose, to rise after every fall. And when you truly believe that, nothing, no circumstance, no failure, no setback can keep you down. Think about the battles you've already survived. Look back on the times when you thought you wouldn't make it, yet here you are. That's not an accident. That's not luck. That's the warrior in you. The same warrior who has come through every storm before will come through this one too. The same warrior who has fought battles in silence, who has endured struggles no one even knows about, is still standing today. It means there is still fight left in you. But here's the truth. The enemy doesn't want you to realize that. The enemy wants you to believe that your mistakes define you, that your past is too heavy to overcome, that your dreams are too far gone to reach. But that's a lie. As long as you have breath in your body, you have a chance to rise again. As long as you wake up in the morning, God still has a plan for you. And when you walk in that truth, when you refuse to believe the lies, you become unstoppable. A warrior doesn't wait for things to get easy. A warrior doesn't wait for perfect conditions. She fights through the storm. She pushes through the pain. She rises even when it hurts, because she knows that every battle is making her stronger. Every struggle is building something inside her that cannot be broken. You don't need permission to get back up. You don't need validation from the world. You don't need everything to be perfect before you take your next step. You just need the faith to believe that what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. You need the courage to take one step, even when you don't see the full path. You need the fire inside of you to burn brighter than the fear that tries to hold you back. God has a purpose for you. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've been through, no matter how broken or unworthy you may feel, there is a divine plan written over your life. Before you took your first breath, before you spoke your first word, before you even knew who you were, God knew. He designed you with intention, created you with purpose, and placed within you everything you would ever need to become who He called you to be. When you look around and don't see the way forward, trust that God is still leading you. Just because you can't see the next step doesn't mean it's not there. Just because the door hasn't opened yet doesn't mean it won't. God does not abandon the ones He calls. He does not forget the ones He loves. And He certainly doesn't waste the pain, the lessons, or the experiences that have shaped your journey. Everything you've been through is working together for something greater than you can imagine. Think about Joseph. He had a dream, a vision of something incredible, but life took him through betrayal, slavery, and prison before he ever saw that dream come to pass. If you had looked at his life in the middle of his struggles, you might have thought he was forgotten, that God had abandoned him. But God was working all along. Every setback, every betrayal, every hardship was leading him exactly where he was meant to be. What others meant for evil, God turned into something powerful. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know all the answers. You just have to trust that God does. His purpose for you is bigger than your mistakes, stronger than your doubts, and greater than your fears. He is not finished with you yet. If you are still here, if you are still breathing, then that means your purpose is still alive. Your story is not over. Stop looking at where you've been and start focusing on where God is taking you. Stop allowing the past to define you when God is calling you into something new. Stop letting fear tell you that you're not capable when God has already equipped you. You were made for more. You were created with greatness inside of you, and no matter what the world says, no matter what the enemy tries to make you believe, the truth remains the same. God has a purpose for you, and nothing can take that away. Rebuilding starts with you. No one is coming to do it for you. No one else can pick up the pieces of your life and put them back together. You are the one who has to decide that the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. You are the one who has to look at what's broken, what's been lost, and say, this is not where my story ends. Rebuilding means making a decision. It means refusing to let your past dictate your future. It means standing up even when you don't feel strong, moving forward even when you don't see the whole path. It's about doing what you can with what you have, trusting that as you take one step, God will reveal the next. Sometimes that step is choosing to forgive yourself, others, even God, for the things you didn't understand. Sometimes that step is letting go of the familiar, walking away from what's comfortable but no longer serves you. You cannot rebuild while holding on to what broke you. You cannot step into your next chapter while clinging to the last one. You must decide that your future matters more than your history, that what God has ahead of you is greater than anything behind you. And yes, it will take strength. Yes, it will take perseverance. But everything you need is already inside of you. Think of Nehemiah. He saw the ruins of Jerusalem, saw the destruction, and could have turned away, could have said, it's too much, it's too broken. But he didn't. He prayed, and then he picked up a stone and started building. He faced opposition, faced doubt, but he kept working. Because he understood that the only way forward was through action. And that is the mindset you must have. Rebuilding is not about speed, it's about consistency. One brick at a time, one step at a time. Some days progress will be small, barely noticeable, but do not be discouraged. Small steps lead to big victories. Every prayer, every moment of discipline, every act of faith, it's all building something greater than you can see right now. And yes, there will be days when you get tired, days when you question whether it's worth it. But remember why you started. Remember who you are becoming. Remember that every great comeback begins with a decision to rise. So pick up your stone, start where you are with what you have, because rebuilding starts with you, and your story is far from over. Silence the lies, the ones that tell you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, the ones that creep in during your weakest moments, whispering that you are too broken to be fixed, too far gone to be redeemed, too lost to be found. Those lies are designed to keep you stuck, to keep you from walking in your purpose, to keep you from realizing the power that God has placed inside of you. But they have no authority over your life unless you give them power. Every lie you've ever believed started with a seed. Maybe someone planted it in your mind when you were young, telling you that you weren't special, that you wouldn't amount to anything. Maybe life planted it through failure, heartbreak, rejection, or disappointment. Maybe you planted it yourself, allowing fear and doubt to take root where faith was meant to grow. But just because something was planted in you doesn't mean it has to stay there. You have the power to uproot every lie, every false belief, every negative thought that has tried to take hold of your mind. Lies are loud, but truth is louder. The truth is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, The truth is that God has a plan for you, a plan to prosper you and not to harm you, a plan to give you a future and a hope. The truth is that no mistake, no failure, no past decision is greater than God's. The truth is that you are chosen, called, and equipped for everything that is meant for you, but if you don't silence the lies, you'll never hear the truth clearly. Lies will tell you that you're not strong enough, that the weight you're carrying is too heavy, that the mountain in front of you is too big, that you don't have what it takes to keep going. But strength isn't about how much you can carry alone. It's about who is carrying you. And when God is carrying you, there is no burden too heavy, no obstacle too great, no battle too hard. His strength is made perfect in your weakness, which means that even when you feel like you have nothing left, He is still more than enough. Lies will tell you to quit, to stop trying, to stop believing, to stop fighting. But quitting is exactly what the enemy wants. And you were not created to lose. You were not created to live in defeat. You were created to overcome, to rise, to walk boldly in the purpose that has been set before you. You have the power to silence every lie, to replace fear with faith, doubt with confidence, insecurity with truth. It won't happen overnight, and it won't always be easy. But every time you reject a lie and choose to believe the truth, you take back a piece of the life God meant for you to have. You take back your power. You take back your mind, your confidence, your joy. So today, right now, make the choice. Silence the lies. Listen to the truth. Walk in who you were always meant to be, because you are more than enough and nothing can take that away from you. Faith over fear. That is the choice you must make every single day. Fear will try to control you, keep you stagnant, and stop you from stepping into what God has for you. It will whisper all the reasons why you should give up, why you're not ready, why you're not capable. But faith is louder. Faith says, move forward anyway. Faith says, God is bigger than what's in front of me. Faith says, I don't have to see the whole path. I just have to trust the one who does. Fear is a liar, but it's a loud one. It will remind you of every failure, every shortcoming, every reason why things won't work out. It will magnify the problem and minimize the promise. It will paralyze you with what ifs and make you hesitate when you should be moving. But fear only has the power that you give it. When you choose faith, when you decide to believe that God is who He says He is, fear loses its grip.